Hey guys, welcome to my subtropical food forest. Today I wanted to chat to you about my favourite tree in the yard, which is this beautiful jackfruit tree. Now I planted this tree back in March 2018, so it's currently a bit under 2.5 years old. As you can see, we have our first fruit on the tree. Now I was umming and ahhing whether I was going to keep these fruit or take them off because the tree's so young. Now I've decided to leave about 7 get larger. I've already pruned off about 20 female flowers because once jackfruits, or at least this jackfruit, starts flowering, it puts on an absolutely amazing amount of flowers. Now currently in Australia we're in winter, so this tree started flowering back in autumn, which surprised me. I thought it wasn't going to start flowering until spring. As you can see up inside the tree, there is an incredible amount of flowers on this tree. I'm actually probably going to have to go through and prune off some more female flowers in the next couple of days probably. Now, one thing I did want to show you was the difference between the male and the female jackfruit flowers. As you can see here, this is a male jackfruit flower. You can see it's got the pollen on the outside, and beside it here is a female jackfruit flower, which is more bumpy. The other way to tell the difference is, if you look at the stems, the female jackfruit flower has a very thick stem, whereas the male jackfruit flower has quite a thin and narrow stem. Now these fruit have been on the tree for about 2 months now, and as you can see they are starting to get a little bit of size to them, so I'm pretty excited. And when these fruit do finally get big enough and ripen, probably in about 6 months, I hope you guys will come back and join us as we cut them open and actually try them. Now, the Galaxy jackfruit is the most commonly commercially grown jackfruit in Australia. I'm really keen to try it. It's been a long time since I've eaten fresh jackfruit. And this tree, it grows extremely fast. I've pruned this tree back, or at least I've pruned the top out of it twice now, and it's still about 4.5 meters high. And it's important when you do your pruning on your jackfruit, only do it in summer when it's warm and wet. Because if you prune these trees in winter, you'll actually get some serious dieback issues. So this guy won't be pruned again probably for about another 6 months now. That'll actually probably be after I pick the fruit it currently has on it. As I said, I've left 7 fruit. I was actually considering taking them all off. There's a couple more up in the center region here. And the only reason I was really considering taking them off was the age of the tree. I thought it may affect the vigor and its growth. So as you can see, even in winter here, we have new growth coming out basically on every branch. And one other thing you'll notice is a few of these leaves are quite ratty looking, and that's because we actually had a very severe hailstorm about 2 months ago. And in saying that, the jackfruit actually handled the hail really well compared to some of my other fruit trees. It didn't really seem to bother it much at all, apart from a little bit of leaf tear, and it was quite a serious hailstorm. Now I was going to show, I actually have 2 other jackfruit trees. One of them being a grafted tree, and that's this little guy over here. Now this is Kyogle Gold. These are supposed to have absolutely amazing tasting, very strong tropical flavored fruit. You can see there's a little graft down the bottom there, and this is Daly's tree from Daly's nursery. I'm really keen on this one because I love frozen jackfruit, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing for this: fruit smoothies and frozen jackfruit. The soft varieties aren't supposed to be the greatest to eat fresh, but because they're amazing flavor, frozen they're supposed to be really good. The other jackfruit tree I have is even smaller, and this is a J33 Jackfruit tree. Very keen on this one. It's supposed to be excellent eating crisp jackfruit, the dark orange flesh. It's pretty tiny at the moment. It's only about 30 centimeters high. So I'm excited to see what this guy does once it starts warming up in spring. I think he's going to absolutely take off, and we'll definitely be doing regular updates on these jackfruit. Now, jackfruit trees do love their water. In the climate we're in here in Rockhampton, It's, as from the title, it's subtropical, though we do get really hot in summer. We get heat waves where it's up over 40 degrees or over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and you basically can't water jackfruit trees too much. They're also pretty heavy feeders, especially when they're young. I feed this tree every 3 months with a slow release fertilizer, and I also go through every month and feed it a liquid fertilizer. And generally, if I remember, I'll also feed it every 2 weeks a foliar feed. So it's quite a full-on feeding schedule, but when you feed these trees like that, they will grow amazingly fast. It's got probably a 2.5 meter spread and 4.5 meters high. The other important thing with these trees is what you're looking at here, and that is thick mulch. Now, I grow with the wood chip method, so I generally like to have at least 6 inches of mulch around these trees at all times. And the soil here was actually relatively poor 2 years ago when I started doing this method. As you can see, when you go down to the soil now, it is rich, dark soil. It looks absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to continue doing this pretty much for as long as I live here, growing, putting this mulch down, because it just makes such a nice environment for the trees to live in. They absolutely thrive. Anyways, as I said, I hope you come back when we pick these jackfruits in about 6 months. We'll do a taste test on them, and I will see you then. Thanks, guys.